at these brothers. Man, I want to ask a question or answer a question rather, and also really have a part two of a video I made the other day. The video I made the other day was called "The Man That She Wants to Smash and Marry Are Two Different People," right? Now let me say real quick. I understand a few brothers in there came in and said, "Hey, nah, man, I'm both. I check both boxes." There are definitely a lot of exceptions to that rule. I'm sure a lot of us men have been in relationships where we were that guy. We were both A and Z. And maybe all of us can also relate to being on one end of the spectrum. So it's a general video. I understand there are exceptions to the rule, but I'm speaking to 90%, 95% of the majority of relationships. And there were a few women that commented on there. One woman said, she said, "I'm happily married, and what you're saying is true." So again, it's just general, right? But one question I wanted to respond to, and I told brother that, I said, this is video worthy, man. I'm not finna comment in the section. He said, "So," this is brother Plains GA boy. He said, "So which one would you rather be?" And then he asked for the brothers to chime in. So let's have the conversation. And brothers, I would love for you to chime in as well, man. Which one would you rather be? If you're going to be on both one end of or the other of the spectrum, the one she wants to smash, that she has high sexual interest in, or the one that she looks at for long-term provision, long-term provider, the one she wants to, build a house with and live in the, which one would you rather be? I'll say this. I believe that in order to have this conversation, man, in the healthiest manner, or maybe not the healthiest manner, in the manner where you can really see it being what it is, I think for a moment, man, at least for this video, man, we have to remove morals. We have to remove all of our spirituality, all that gospel talk and all that high vibrational being in the light and the darkness. Like let's remove that for 5 minutes, man, and talk about this. Because you can really see it for what it is then. You can really see it for what it is then, man. The first thing you got to understand, brothers, is like the world has changed in a major way. And when I say it's changed, I'm talking about when you look at what's expected out of men and women. Like the woman today, the average good woman today in 1994, oh, she was a hoe. She, the average woman now, 20, 30 years ago, brother, she was bottom of the barrel. And I'm talking about the standard good girl now. So just understand that times change. And what I really mean by that is, or an example of that is, like I can remember when I first started dating my son's mother. We were teenagers, bro. Got married at 21, stayed married for 10 years. When I came out from, so you're talking about the gap from 17 years old, give or take, to 30, 31 years old. Brother, the game had changed probably 10 times since then, because the game changes about every 18 to 24 months. So when I came out from being married and I'm back outside, bro, the conversation I was having with women, the approach, the demeanor, every single thing that I had to offer, brother, was so foreign. I couldn't even get a conversation, man. And it took me about 6 months to really understand how women were moving. And I was damn near clutching pearls. Like, oh, damn, like that's how we moving now? And I recalibrated and I went on it and I got back right. You know what I'm saying? I plugged back in. So you got to understand that the game is always changing. And where the game is right now, brothers, again, if you take morals away from it, you can really see things for what it is, man. Women are on a whole different timeline than what society is telling them to be on. And again, we're in a no judge zone today. Meaning, you have to look at, for example, like the majority of women right now, they're not really against long-term relationships if it vibrates a certain way. But the majority of women now are on. You talking about marriage? Oh, brother, they're not even entertaining that. Like they're on a whole different time zone. There's this book called Untamed, and I haven't read it, but I've seen a few takeaways and bullet points from it. There are a lot of women that are reading this book. It's called Untamed. Google it. And they're reading this book and they're leaving and going and filing for the divorce instantly. Because it's telling women that, hey, you know what? We don't have to fall up under this jurisdiction. We don't have to fall up under these rules. We don't have to be this nice little housewife and all this stuff. And it's giving them a sense of freedom. And again, I'm not tripping on that, brother, because it's like if a woman is doing her thing and working, like for example, when you have a man that's taking care of his business, he's solid on his job, he's moving forward, he's saving money, he's seeing the world. A lot of times a man won't get married because he's saying, man, life ain't broke. Like, why fix it? And when he's in this energy that we call F-boy season, you know, he's kind of just, think about how free that is. Think about how free it is, man, for you to just be able to focus on your bag all day, all night. Not really think about having to take care of responsibilities that a husband would. But you got chicks in the DM. You got women texting you all the time saying, hey, you know what? I want to fly out and see you. On every day of the week, you have this. Like, to be honest, man, we can talk about F-boys all we want. That's not a bad way of life. There's a lot of freedom when a man moves like that. Again, removing the spiritual factor because the downside of that is if a man is trying to get a rotation, now his energy is just being spent all over the place, and now he's depleting himself. So, you know, that's why it's a bad idea. But if a man is moving in that energy, and he has a chick that they talk on the phone maybe once or twice a week. She flies in town, or they connect, or go out to eat and connect every once in a while. I'm not gonna even front, bro. That ain't a bad way to live, man. And I've been in that energy. And I can remember when I was in the energy, man. When I was in that energy, I can remember like members of my family saying, "Hey, why do you do? Why are you moving like this?" And I was just like, what am I really doing? I'm just being myself. I'm not violating. I'm just enjoying life. You know what I'm saying? When you can have a woman and say, you know, y'all want to connect, y'all are sexually interested, and she can, you know, meet you in Miami for the weekend. She can meet you in Sedona for the weekend, or meet you in Cali or whatever for the weekend, and y'all can hang out. And when y'all are together, it's like y'all are booed up. It's like y'all are holding hands. Y'all are intimate. Y'all are kicking it, having fun. But when you go your separate ways, you're not worried about if her bills are paid. You're not worried about is her car insurance paid. Y'all are just vibing. I'm not going to even hold you, bro. That's not a bad way to live. And I can, you know what I'm saying? As opposed to being on the other end. You're married. You got your one woman. You understand that she's moving a different way. You understand that temptation of social media is out there. You got to wonder about if a work husband is you got all these factors. As far as mental stress, I get that. I can understand why men move like that. So you have to understand a lot of women are on that same timeline now. They're saying, I've gone to college. I started my own business. I own properties. I got XYZ. My retirement is set up. Like, life is good. I don't want to go and be some wife where I gotta make sure the kids are doing certain things. I gotta make sure this man's slippers are at the right spot, or cook him dinner on certain nights of the week. It takes a certain caliber of woman to say, you know what, I want to be a wife. So you got to understand first, that's where women are. That's where women are. I'll go even further. Go to the last 10 sisters that are in your DM. And I'm not just talking about like sisters that hop in your DM, man, because I got sisters that hop in my DM and we just on some real cool stuff. Like we talking some manifestation talk, or we talking some business talk. I'm not talking about them sisters. I'm talking about the sisters that jump in your DM, or y'all are jumping in each other DM because it's mutual, and y'all are showing interest type jumping in your DM. Where she like, yeah, I saw the last video, you were looking good, or I like when you wear that color, or XYZ, and blah, 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 you know, that kind of talk. You have to understand that out of those last 10 women, hear me out, brothers. Out of those last 10 women, only one of those women are coming at you like, I think you can be a good husband. And I'm going to come at you from that angle. The other 9 are wanting to experience you sexually. I'm not saying they don't like you. They want to experience you sexually. They want to make sure you do all those things. They want to make sure you can do it the right way. They want to make sure that tongue is doing a certain thing and all that. And if you can check that box in the right manner, that sexual appetite, then she might, at some point, maybe she might try to convert you to a husband. Most women want to find that and convert a man to a husband. And I'll be honest, man. I'll be straight honest. I don't really see that being a bad thing, because when I think about some of my I don't want to say the word best because of the way they ended, but the relationships that were the healthiest when they were healthy, they started off like that. They didn't start off like, hey, you know what? Let's hook up. Are you looking for a husband? Are you looking for a wife? Okay, let's sing Kumbaya and move forward. Those didn't move like that. It was the ones that started off where it's like, hey, shit, meet me in GA this weekend. Meet me in Tabiata. Let's hang out. Let's vibe. And we might have went a spell where it was just that. She could be that 304 in the bed she wanted to, and I could be that nasty man. It wasn't no bills, no none of that. And it just grew to a certain thing. And at some point she was like, well, shit, she started feeling her brother a certain way. Emotions got involved in it, and it went that way. But the healthiest relationship started off kind of on that, what we would call a darker side, of us just hanging out. But I'll say this, man. And this is something I really came to understand here recently. A lot of women, even though they may say, hey, you know what? I think we should be married. Why we ain't married? Talking that marriage talk. A lot of women maybe go from, hey, let's just hook up, to having that marriage talk, because that's what society wants them to do. That's what society has trained them to do. Where a lot of women, what they're really saying is, I'm just liking you more and more. I'm liking you more and more. And I just maybe want to spend more and more time. But a lot of those women don't want to be wives. They don't want to be wives. And I'm not sitting there saying it's a bad thing, brother. I'm saying at some point, we got to call it what it is. In other words, let me say it like this. If you get with a woman, y'all are dating long term, and at some point you say, okay, we're not just hooking up every once in a while. Like, you my girl now. You might go even further and say, you know what? Let's get engaged. You might put a whole ring on that thing. You might even go further and go walk down the aisle, and now she's wifey. If your woman at some point in time steps out and cheats, but I'm gonna tell you this, and you're not gonna want to hear this. Don't be mad at that woman at all. Don't be mad at that woman at all. If anything, be mad at yourself. Be mad at yourself because you saw things that you ignored and you end up putting her in that position anyway. Be mad at yourself for not keeping her where she should have been. Not saying that's bad. But a lot of times and I'm speaking to myself, a lot of times we will have a good, healthy relationship with a woman. Call it what you want. Sneaky link, side, or whatever you want to call it. And it'll go to something else when really whole time we know it shouldn't go past that. We have to bite the bullet on that, brothers. If your woman steps out, don't be mad at her, man. Be mad at yourself for putting her in that position, bro. And I'm going to tell you, when you accept that responsibility, all your anger toward anybody from your ex, I don't care if it was the girl back in third grade that kissed your best friend. All of that will go away, man. All that anger would just be like, you know what? It is what it is. Like, I just didn't call the right play. I put her in a category that she didn't fit. So long story short, how, answering brother's question, what side of the fence would I rather be on? Would I rather be the one she wants to smash or the one she wants to, call hubby? I would say this, man. Accept them where they are, but place them where they belong. Accept them where they are, man, but place them where they belong. In other words, the time we live in now on what's acceptable for being a woman, like a lot of these women, we need to stop calling 304s and just say they're just being what they are. They're just being what they are. Are there still whores in the world? Yeah. It gets to a level where it's so dark where when a random stranger can smash without knowing your name, and trust me, it happens. Believe me, it happens. Trust me, it happens, man. Now you a straight up hold in. But man, just stop getting mad at these women about wanting to live. To be honest, how men live for a long time. You know what I'm saying? Like if a woman don't want to step in that, now of course, are there downsides to it? Of course, we're not talking about it in this conversation. But for a woman to want to move like that, hella downsides. She messing with a number of men. At some point, that her DNA is gonna be so screwed. At some point, she's gonna transform into a succubus by law, and that's a whole nother conversation. But we're not talking about that right now. We're just talking about the nature of today's women. Stop putting these women in categories they don't belong in, man. That'll fix everything. Accept her where she is. It's like, hey, you know what? You hook up with brothers on. Yeah, that's what you do. Like, hey, I see no fault. And if that's what you want from me, if that's where you're vibrating, brothers, then you can either play that game or say, no, you know what? I don't even get down like that. Just call it what it is. I'll tell you this. And this is one of the things, man, I think that plays a huge part. Like when a man is healed from his trauma, when he's out of those phases, and when he has a better understanding of, like, you know what? Like, it might have been fun to just smash and dash and hook up with every different woman. Like, that might have been fun for 5 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. But that might have been fun for a few minutes. But I understand that the ultimate, me taking that path, ultimately is going to lead to my destruction. So I back away from that. And a man gets in a state where he's like, okay, I'm not sitting there saying I'm a saint. But if I'm entertaining a woman, there has to be some substance there. I'm not saying we got to be in position where we know we finna go it a long way. But if I can't see me and you really vibing on some real stuff, like, I'm not even entertaining that. The danger with a man moving in that mindset is a lot of times a man can be like, if I'm entertaining anything, it's going to be a wife type. And he's thinking, if I'm entertaining anybody, it's a wife type. Anybody, it's a wife type. That's a dangerous place to be in, bro. Because when you move in that energy, it doesn't really give you the opportunity to assess a woman. And I'm saying, you gotta understand this. Me saying that, again, I'm putting the blame on men. It's not really giving you the opportunity to assess a woman. Because if we're honest with ourselves, every single woman that comes into your life is showing you who she is, and she's showing you what she desires out of you. But if you're in this mindset of, well, all I mess with is wife type, then when a woman comes to your life and she crosses that threshold and says, I want to be in your space, you're going to assume that's what she's wanting. Man, this is the bomb. I got some pomegranate juice, some beet juice, and hella lime squeezed in that. But this is I'm gonna call this the nectar of gods. How copy? But when you move like that, when we as men move like that, again, we're healed. We're looking for solid women. We're looking for that 1% woman in our life. A woman will know that, cross that threshold, get in your space, and to be honest, she's just like, you know what? I just want to have fun. And a lot of times, going back to that societal pressure, it'll push her close to that line, and she might even go past that line when really that's not what she wants. So we got to be in a mindset, even if we're healed and it's like, you know what? Maybe one day I'm going to find a wife. Maybe I'll get married one day. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. We still have to move as men in a neutral position. Whereas, like, when this woman comes in, let me assess her. And when I say assess her, meaning look at her actions, look at her behavior, look at how her words are matching her actions. Look at every single thing about her and say, okay, you know what? I hear what you're saying, but let me see what you're doing. And from that, from your thoughts, your behaviors, your act, let me put you in a certain category. Like, I'm going to respect you for what you are. And I'm not going to judge. Like, if you just want to hook up and fly out and let's just hang out, have fun, have a few drinks if you drink, and have a few smokes and hang out and be on that timeline, then shit, let's do that. Let's do that. But let me put you where you belong. In other words, don't be treating these women that move like wife type. Or let me say it like this. These women that aren't moving in their highest energy, like these women that hey, you know, if you fly to my city, let's connect. Let's hook up. Let's hang out. Cool. No harm, no foul. But don't be treating them like wife type. Don't treat them like wife type. Like if a woman is just on some smash and dash stuff, again, no judgment. But there's no sense of you talking to this woman on the phone every day and y'all talking, you know, all this communication. It's like, no, bro, that energy is being wasted now. That energy needs to go towards your craft. You know what I'm saying? And even the 1% woman doesn't get all that energy. But all I'm saying is, man, we have to start accepting women for where they are and just putting them in a category they belong. That will eliminate a lot of our problems. Like if we do that, man, a lot of the conversation about how women do certain things, why they do certain things, we scratching our heads, not understanding, it'll eliminate that, man. And to be honest, the world will be a peaceful place. And again, I'm speaking straight third dimensional. I'm not adding morality and spirituality and spiritual consequences. I'm talking third dimensional talk right now. The world will be a lot better place. And to be honest, I know a lot of women won't come out and say, hey, yeah, you know what? I think you sexy, man. I just want to rub on that beard and kiss your neck and and let's go. They won't really come out and say that, but in so many words, if you listen, they will. And if she's sexy, if she thick, if she cute, and you're gonna be in Vegas in the next couple of weeks, it's like, man, let's connect. Let's hang out. Again, I'm not sitting there telling brothers what to do, what not to do. I'm just saying you have to look at this thing from a different perspective to really fall out of the trap of getting caught up or getting angry or getting whatever. Not saying there aren't 1% women out there. Not saying there aren't wives out there. They are out there. But again, you have to understand that even when the Bible talks about how rare they are, it's like they're super rare, bro. If you see a woman that's wife type, brother, you probably go to 10 events, 10 concerts, 10 day parties, 10 club events before you see one. That's how rare they are, man. So it's just an awareness thing. So to answer brother Plains GA boy's question. So which one would you rather be? And brothers chime in. To answer the question, man, I would simply say, I choose the path less traveled. And that has made all the difference.